Hey guys, what's going on? Adam Snyder here with the Homemade Entrepreneur. So in this video, I want to give you 7 lessons that I learned before making my first $1,000 a day online. A lot of people that I talk to say you can't make money online. There's no way you can make $1,000 a day, and I'm here to tell you you can. But there are lessons that I learned that I want you to know, I want you to remember, because some of these lessons changed my business completely. So we're not going to talk about other people. I want you to understand exactly what it takes to make $1,000 a day online, $30,000 a month, every single month, and it just keeps on growing. So let's jump into those lessons right now. The first lesson that I learned was not everything will work. There will come a time where you will fail. You know, when that time comes, you need to decide, do you keep pushing forward? Do you keep trying to make this business work? Or do you close up shop and move on? This is something I actually had to do. I owned a website called heatedtowelracks.com. And I don't own this website anymore. It's been gone for years. But I had this website and it was doing very well. And I think this was like the fall of 2009, 2010 maybe 2011 as well. But this website was doing very well. I was making probably right around, you know, $50 to $60 per day, and this was just affiliate sales from Amazon. So what ended up happening is once the winter was over, once spring hit, this website it tanked. There was no sales. There's not getting as much traffic. And the reason for that is because it was a very seasonal website. So this website didn't completely tank because it was a bad website. It tanked because it wasn't evergreen content. It wasn't going to be consistently searched for every single day, every single month. It was seasonal. So I wanted to get out of seasonal. So I ended up selling this website. I think it was for like $7,500 or $8,000, something like that. I ended up selling it for. So it did very well. But it wasn't something I wanted to keep putting more and more time into. So something like that. I figured out that's not what I want to do. You know, it worked out. I was doing good. I was making money. But that's not the direction I want to see myself going to. So I ended up selling it and moved on. You need to decide, whatever you're doing, is it working or is it not? Is it something that you want to continue on, or is it a path that you just want to get out of? Figure that out and decide, you know, what are you going to do, and then move on from there. You probably heard the story about the tortoise and the hare. The tortoise pretty much just, you know, slow moving, you know, slow and steady wins the race. Then you got the hare that just, you know, bolts out the gate, you know, fast, you know, takes a break. So what I want you to understand is that building an online business is kind of like the tortoise and the hare. You want to be the tortoise. The hare, it's sexy, you're gonna make a lot of money very quickly, and you see this big spike. But what happens after a spike? So you see this big spike and then you see a sharp decline. And that happens every single time. Now with the tortoise, it just slowly starts growing and you make money. That is a consistent business. That's something that you can consistently count on. You know, month after month, you're gonna make money. So to make $1,000 a day, you don't want to be the hare. You don't want to see it spike and then drop. You don't want that. What you want to see is it slowly, gradually starts growing. Because that's the business that you can count on. That's something you can rely on. For a long-term business, that is what you want. Number 3 is just be focused. That's something I learned the hard way, is I was not focused. I had hundreds and hundreds of different websites, a lot of which were making me, you know, maybe $1 to maybe $5 a day. Nowhere near $1,000 a day. Okay? And what I learned was I needed to focus on just a few. So I had a handful of sites I'd focus on. I spent the majority of my time, the majority of my money for advertising and for outsourcing. It was all going into these handful of sites. And the reason why is because I wanted to get those to get the traffic that they needed to make, you know, $100, you know, $500, $1,000 a day, whatever it was. I need to know, okay, these sites are gonna be my core sites. This is what's gonna bring in the most traffic, the most money. And then I'm gonna take that money and I'm gonna invest into my other sites. That is how I grew up to $1,000 a day. Because you're not just going to get there from one site. One site is not going to get you $1,000 a day unless it's just really a quality site. But to risk all your time and effort and money into that one site and see it fail, I wouldn't do that. So that was just my example. Is, you know, I put all my time and effort into hundreds and hundreds of different sites. And they all weren't failing, but in a sense they were, because I was nowhere near my goal. The fourth lesson I learned, and I think probably most of you have learned this as well, is get rich quick is pretty much just a scam. And you know, are there ways you can get rich quick? Yes, there are. But there's two things that require you to make money. It's either time or money. You need money to make money, or you need time. Which one are you gonna put in? If you don't have the money, you gotta put in the time. If you don't have the time, you put in the money, great. There are businesses that you can invest a lot of money right now and you can make a lot of money very quickly. Those are not scams. Okay, are there scams out there? Yes, there are. But now there are businesses that don't require any money, but they take a lot of time. You need to decide which one you want. But just know, if someone's telling you there's no investment needed, you're gonna make, you know, $1,000 within 10 minutes or an hour, it's probably a scam. If they're asking you to pay money, it's probably a scam. Now, if you're watching a YouTube video, something like this, where someone's just telling you, you know, how to do this, and they're not asking for anything, they're not asking for any money, or, you know, go sign up here, whatever, it's probably not a scam. They're probably just teaching you something. So listen to those people, because those people are the ones that are going to change your life. The fifth lesson I learned is to create one goal. That one goal should be to make $1,000 a day online. If that is your ultimate goal, make that your goal. No other goal matters, okay? If your other goal is to, you know, run 10 miles a day and to, you know, play, you know, the Xbox or PlayStation for 1 hour and watch TV and do all this other stuff and, you know, throw the frisbee with the dog, whatever your goals are, that's great, that's perfect if that's what you want to do. But if you want to make $1,000 a day and that is actually your ultimate goal, that should be your only goal, that one goal. Don't have a bunch of different goals, because that's only going to make you less focused on that main thing, your $1,000 a day goal. One example of this is when I was wanting to make $1,000 a day, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. You know, at that time, you know, my family and I were down in Mexico. And so in order for me to make $1,000 a day, I had to do a bunch of different stuff. You know, and then down there, we wanted to spend time at the beach. You know, we just wanted to hang out, you know, watch TV, you know, I wanted to go to the gym. At the time when I really started to see the business grow, I pretty much stopped going to the gym. I weighed my heaviest I've ever weighed in my life, which was I think 245 pounds, and I wasn't like solid fat, but you know, I was probably 28-30% body fat. So you know, I was not healthy, to say the least. So my goal of being healthy and, you know, having, you know, fitness be a part of my life, I pretty much just pushed that out. That was, you know, that was my second priority compared to my first goal, which was make $1,000 a day. So make that your ultimate goal. Put all your time and effort into that, and I guarantee you will see some success. You might not be there tomorrow, you might not be there next week, but at some point, if you consistently do this over and over again, you will get there. The sixth lesson I learned to making $1,000 a day is that invest in yourself, invest in courses, invest in books, invest in, you know, videos that you can watch, something that's going to teach you something. So books, videos, and courses are the three things I recommend. You can do podcasts, you can do YouTube videos, blogs, all that stuff. You know, some of those things are free, but invest in those. If it's going to cost you $20 or $70 or $100, whatever it is, to learn something new that you can actually put into your business, that's going to make you more money, that is going to make you more valuable, do it. Because whatever you're going to learn now, you can put into your business later on. Now, I have no clue what business you're running right now, so I can't tell you, you know, go get this course or that course and read this book and that book. I'm not going to do that. All I can tell you is do your research. Go on Google, just, you know, put in some different courses, some different ideas, whatever, and find something that works for you. Also, network with other people, with like-minded people such as yourself. People that want to make $1,000, that want to do, you know, this and grow a business and have a better lifestyle, and whatever it is, whatever your goals are. Network with those kind of people, because they can help you. They can tell you, oh, I took this course or I read this book. I think it would really help you out. Go check it out. Something as simple as that, just talking to people. Just networking is a great opportunity for you, not only for yourself as a person, but as an entrepreneur as well. And the last lesson that I learned when making $1,000 a day online is that once you reach that $1,000 a day goal, you know, yay, don't stop. Do not stop. Don't sit back and relax and think everything's just going to be great, your life's going to be perfect. It won't. Okay? I know because I did this and I learned the hard way. Is I let some VAs take pretty much all my websites and just run them. Okay? It was all up to them. and I pretty much took, I think it was like 3 weeks off. What ended up happening is I went from $1,000 a day quickly down to about $500, $600 a day, okay, average. Okay, so there were still days I was making $1,000 and, you know, things were great and I was so excited, but then those $500 a day, you know, I know it's not like it's, you know, it's little, it's chump change. It's still great money, but when you're making double and then it's cut in half because you let somebody else pretty much run your websites, that's what was hard. Is that I thought everything was going good, everything was smooth. Now I'm making this money, so I can just let somebody else run it. That wasn't the case. You know, I slacked off. Don't do that. Whatever kind of business you're running, don't slack off. Don't delegate 100% of all your tasks to somebody else and not oversee what they're doing. I'm not saying every single business is going to do this, but this happened to me, and I just want you to know this was a tough lesson to learn. This was a tough pill to swallow. Is that, you know, I let somebody else, I let other people run my business, and they didn't run into the ground, but it took a nosedive right after I left. The reason why was just because they weren't doing things the way I would have done it. They weren't doing things, you know, kind of putting as much effort as I would have wanted to. And I think it was because they knew I was taking a few weeks off. So because of that, they pretty much did whatever they wanted to do. Don't do that. Don't slack off. Once you reach $1,000 a day, go for it, 110%. Do more. Hire another person. Keep putting your all into it. Hire somebody else or 2 other people. Have them putting all their time and effort into it. So now you don't just have one person putting all their time and effort. You have 2 or 3 people. That's just going to get your business from $1,000 to $2,000, $3,000, maybe $5,000 a day online. I'm not saying this is going to be easy. There's a lot of work involved. I've been doing this for over 10 years, and there are still times where certain businesses that I'm trying to run, it's tough to get them to $100 a day. You know, nonetheless $1,000 a day. So just know it doesn't matter how long you've been in this business. Every single thing that you do, all these steps that you've been taking, they're going to teach you things, you know, in the future. They're teaching me skills that I can use tomorrow, next week, and next month, whatever. Okay, so understand the businesses that you're running. Understand how you're making money. Understand what your core business is, and spend all your time doing that. So if you guys have any questions on how to make $1,000 a day online, or any of these 7 lessons that I learned, you know, and also if there was a lesson that, you know, I probably learned more lessons than these, but these are just the kind of the key lessons I just wanted to, you know, tell you guys today. But if you learned any other lessons, you know, on your quest to $100 a day, or $500, or $1,000, or $10,000, whatever it is, put those in the comment section below. I'd love to read about those. And also, if you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you do so today. And I'll see you guys on the next video.